Welcome back to the sewing room. I'm Laura, and today I do want to talk to you a little bit about the machine I've been talking about, but also just generally about stitch length, choosing the right stitch length for what you're doing, and getting the best out of your sewing. All right, let's get started. Apologies for my voice today. I think I have a little bit of a cold. I feel fine. My voice just sounds funny. Lisa and I actually were just talking about this, that for both of us, kind of the first thing to go wrong when we're sick is our voice, and then it's the last thing to come back. So anyway, apologies for that. So why does it matter which stitch length you use as you're sewing? Basically, if you use a stitch that's too long for what you're trying to do, the stitch won't be strong enough to last. And if you use a stitch that's too short for what you want to do, it'll first of all be really annoying to sew because it'll feel like it's taking forever to sew. You'll use more thread than necessary. It'll be really hard to take the stitching out if you do need to remove any stitching. And then for some fabrics, using too short a stitch length can actually cause other issues where it just looks wrong. It looks too tight. So it is important to kind of balance the ease of your sewing with the stitch length that you want that's going to give you the strength that you need. Essentially, you want to choose the longest stitch length that's going to give you the strength that you need for what you're doing at that moment. In the Bishop method of clothing construction, which is a fantastic resource for all kinds of sewing knowledge, the author talks about selecting the correct machine stitch. Form a habit of checking the stitch regulator, for it is changed frequently to the following stitch lengths. The regulation stitch is the permanent stitch placed in a garment 12 to 15 per inch. It will vary with the type of fabric. A firm, fine fabric will take a shorter stitch than a thick, heavy fabric. The baste stitch is an elongated machine stitch, 6 to 8 per inch. It is usually the longest stitch the machine will make. In contrasting thread, it is used for basting at the machine and for marking buttonholes and center fronts. In matching thread, it is used to facilitate gathering and to create ease. A shorter stitch, 18 to 20 per inch, is used for reinforcement on comparatively limited areas, such as points on collars, underarm curves that will be clipped, and gusset points, and for stitching on buttonhole strips. As for your regular sewing, you want to land kind of somewhere toward the middle of what your sewing machine can do. For areas that are going to potentially see some extra stress because they're being clipped to, or because it's a really tight curve, you want to use a slightly shorter stitch length to help keep things nice and tight. And then for basting, and especially for temporary basting that you want to take out later, the longest stitch length your machine can do is always going to be your best bet. Now, if you're familiar with most Singer machines, for example, your stitch length is here, and you basically move the lever up and down, and in this case the lever kind of locks in place too. But then when you want to stitch in reverse, you just take the lever and you flip it all the way up, and this machine's even very helpfully labeled here with the word reverse, so that's kind of a nice feature. I actually love this style of reverse a lot more than the newer ones where you hold a button down, because this way you still have both hands free. Now, that book was written some time ago, and as you can hear, it's talking about stitches per inch, which is Imperial, not metric. Now, depending on where and when your sewing machine was made, you can take the advice directly from that book, but as you may have noticed, it is in stitches per inch, which does happen to match this Singer. This is also in stitches per inch, but not every machine is in stitches per inch. Some of them are metric, and Lisa and I found that kind of frustrating when we were first starting to sew. So I actually made these little guides some years ago so that you can convert. Like if you have instructions that are in metric and you and your machine is marked in Imperial, then you can use this to go back and forth and vice versa. And some machines, such as this oldie but goodie that I think is from the late 70s, early 80s, don't have a metric or Imperial. They're just kind of their own thing. On this machine, the stitch length is operated here, helpfully labeled stitch length. and it goes from about 8. Well, not from about, it goes from 8 to 2. And so when my students come in with machines like this, and sometimes the manual doesn't even indicate a kind of preferred stitch length for regular sewing on the machine. And when my students come in with a machine like this and I don't quite, I can't immediately say exactly what they should do, I basically look at the scale and then I start them off at about halfway down the scale. So in this case, I would set this machine to 4. And basically test the stitching to see if it more or less looks right. But of course you could also get a ruler and actually measure stitches per inch if you wanted to. But I have found this machine performs very well at about 4. Now, if your machine is similar to this one, I know it looks a little bit strange. The stitch regulator, the stitch length setting looks a little strange. So one little thing to note about this is if your stitch length regulator or stitch length setting has a little stop screw like this, that kind of indicates that it might be similar to this one, where you have to unscrew it, set your setting, and then screw it back in. Now on the Singer one that I just showed you before, that same procedure is basically handled right at the tip of the thing that you move up and down. The lever itself has a little lock on it that allows you to kind of lock it in. Now, I'm not sure how common this is, but for this machine anyway, in the manual, they do say when you're done sewing, it's best for the machine if you basically release that pressure there and then bring the lever down to 0. And I don't know if you can hear this, or I can feel it, but there's definitely something that I'm pushing against when I move this lever. I'll be quiet, maybe you can hear it. So I imagine that advice to leave it on 0 when you're not using the machine helps release whatever this is pushing against, whatever, I don't know if it's a spring or if it's a lever or what, but if you're going to leave the machine for a period of time, probably any longer than a day or 2, but definitely if you're putting it into storage, you do want to put that in that neutral position to help reduce the wear on the machine. And this machine does have a reverse. There's actually this R down here. So once you have set your length, like say you're setting a length of 2, and I do believe this is basically a metric scale on this machine, you sew along, mind your own business, but then if you want to reverse and go backwards, all you have to do is push the lever all the way down until reverse, and then it will go in reverse. And that's the opposite of the Singer machines I have, where the lever is usually in a position somewhere around here, and when you want to go backwards, you flip it up. But the mechanism and the idea is the same. And the manual for this machine does suggest around 2 for sewing, medium weight cotton fabrics. So let's see what that looks like. Now, someone told me this thread cutter should work. It just takes 2 hands. So maybe I'll try that with just using both my hands. Aha! It did work! Let's see if I can even see well enough to actually count stitches per inch on sewing. I've only ever done it on knitting. So here's my stitching, and here is a ruler. Put that there. Find something to point with. Pointing is very important when you're counting so you don't lose track of where you are. So let's say that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, so showing on this machine, setting at 2 is 15 stitches to the inch, which I consider actually a little bit small for this kind of fabric. I think I could easily be more like 12, but honestly, it's probably fine. But if you were feeling really persnickety, you could make yourself a little chart and convert to stitches per inch from the particular sewing machine you have's scale, but of course you can also just eyeball it. Okay, one last little tip before we leave stitch length behind as a conversation is a point that came up in the manual for this machine that I haven't really seen talked about a lot, is that if you want to baste, if you're putting in basting stitches that you know for sure you want to remove, obviously you want to choose your longest possible stitch length, which on this machine is 4, but also to consider reducing the top tension on your machine, because then that will make those stitches even easier to take out when you are done. So let's see what that looks like. Normally we do strive for a balanced stitch, but when we're basting, there might be some advantages to having a looser stitch on top, because usually it's easiest to take out stitches from the bottom. So if the stitching on top is a little bit looser, that might make it even easier. So let's see how that goes. All right. Maybe a little, whoo, it's gathering a lot. Interesting. Right, that was my fault. It's gathering because I tightened the tension on the top instead of loosening it. So let's actually loosen it. Oh, I went the wrong direction. Let's see if that fixes that issue. Ah, much better. Much better. In fact, I think it could be even looser. No, I said I didn't care about not being able to work the thread cutter, but they are awfully convenient. So there's my basting. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If this is your first time, thanks for coming by. Either way, hope to see you soon.